Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today we've got the pleasure of watching Vanda the Big Mouthed playing in their Borask, aka the Bat Chatillon. This vehicle is possibly the best tier 8 premium medium tank, although I wouldn't say that it's going to be the best in everybody's hands. If you're an exceptional player, this vehicle has some exceptional statistics that will lead to you having an exceptional win ratio. On my free-to-play account, I think I nearly get like 68% win ratio on this vehicle or something, and comparable statistics on my main account, at least when I'm sweating. Recently, I've been trying to 3-mark the Borask. Not sure whether I'm going to be able to do it on my stream later today, but I guess you'll know before you watch this video whether I was able to, as I'm going to be releasing this one on Sunday. So, Vanda is going to be the hero of this battle. And funnily enough, the sidekick on this battle is right next to him. But we're going to be seeing that later on. This is going to be a true heroic story of Batman and Robin, aka the Bat Chatillon. I think you can see where I'm going in regards to that. So, one thing I love about this replay is that Vanda is not going to shy away from being willing to get stuck in and commit themselves against even tanks that are 2 tiers higher. And when you can go in with 720 damage divided amongst 2 shells and be able to deliver it within 2 seconds of the first shot, it doesn't really matter how many tiers your opponents are higher than you if you can be able to deliver those double claps, locking down the tracks of the 140 as well as putting 800 damage in, and those are 2 meaty rolls. This thing should be doing 720 with its 2 shots, so that was a plus 10% average on that magazine, although in theory you could roll even higher, right? Which would be an unusual thing. So Vanda is going for pretty much a full damage build here. Vents and an aiming device to be able to maximize the poor accuracy of this vehicle, and vert stabs to be able to improve the gun handling. I personally have been trying out using a rotation device instead of the accuracy device on the Borask, purely to be able to get better traverse speed on this tank, because otherwise it does handle like a little bit of a slug. And it does allow you to dance with your opponents in close quarters combat a lot more. But I have to admit, the accuracy device on this vehicle, especially for when you're sniping at long range, can be an absolute saving grace on this vehicle. So for all of you who are thinking, oh, Vanda, he's a good free-to-play player, he's only using regular rounds. No. Vanda is one of those kind of players who has actually moved the 2 key onto the 1 key, because I guess that's going to be the standard ammo. But in a matchup like this, you know, going up 50 millimeters of penetration can make the difference. And there are a lot of Borask players out there who just feel that, you know, you might as well load gold, and as long as you're penetrating your shells, you're going to be still making a very meaty profit, as it is a premium tank. But in some weird way, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of playing a premium tank, or at least you hope it would be, which would to actually make credits. But then again, some people will be playing an incredible vehicle like this to either complete missions inside the game. I know I sure have on my free-to-play account. You know, when you get one of those daily quests where you have to get 4 kills? Well, there are very few better tanks than the Borask for securing kills in World of Tanks with a quick double tap of these 105mm rounds. So Vanda has had an incredible game, and one of the reasons why I love this replay is that Vanda is willing to commit to the situation, but also, not just that, Vanda is against tier 10 tanks on a horrible map. So once again, Batman and Robin are reunited, dealing with the pesky Borask on the enemy team, and this matchup for both of those players is ugly. The Borask is best on your open, leafy maps, where you get to use the incredible camera rating of the vehicle, not on these city brawling maps. But the thing is this thing has so much damage output in that 2-second burst that's what makes this tank so efficient. If this vehicle didn't have an autoloader, it would probably be quite similar to something like a G-Saw 1010 within that regard. However, because it has this autoloader, it can just trade so darn well against its opponents. Alright, so even though Vanda has done 5,700 damage in under 5 minutes against tier 10 tanks, his team are still down by 1 vehicle, make that 2 vehicles, and a couple of thousand hit points. And so here we go. It's Vanda and Bozkurt playing in their LHMTV against higher tier vehicles. 2 tier 10 heavies, of which one of them is the VZ55, which is arguably the most dangerous tier 10 heavy tank in the game, as well as an IS-7 in support, who is pretty darn healthy, and then a couple of extra support heavy tanks as well. The TNH VZ51, again a very dangerous vehicle, and the VK7501K, which has some decent frontal armor. But luckily, with full gold loaded, Vander still has a fairly good chance even against the lower plate of that tank. So what we're going to see here is that Vander is a very sneaky and heads-up player. They're going to make sure that they're always flanking their opponents, and they're always one step ahead of where their opponents think that they are. And that's something that you have to do if you're in a glass cannon tank and you're dealing with twice as many vehicles on the enemy team who some of them are 2 tiers higher, right? It's not enough to trade your hit points. And especially when you're playing against a VZ55, which now has that 2.5 second intra-clip reload for 490 damage per shell, yeah, you're not going to do too well in your trades against a tank like that. So Vander is going to make good use of the speed of the Bat-Chatillon Bourrasque to be able to now try and flank. And I like the way that the IS-7 is actually separated, and that's great. The LHMTV, Boskert, has got some good view range there, which now means that Vander has an opportunity to try and isolate whatever tank is in the cap circle. The enemy are doing one of the worst things you can ever do in World of Tanks, and that is to separate at the end of the game because you are greedy. I think that they thought, well, you know, all these low-tier tanks, we can easily be able to just find them and I'll be able to mince them and be able to get my next kill or my big damage, right? Wrong. Do not underestimate a great player like Vander playing in an absolutely crazy vehicle like the Bat-Chatillon Bourrasque. Vander finishes off the most dangerous tank that was left on the enemy team, and he sees that rubble fall. I hope he did see that rubble fall on left. Looks like he did. Now swinging in to see if they can find out where that TNH VZ51 is. And I would have thought that the TNH VZ51 was right in front, but looks like maybe they bombed it round the corner, or maybe on the left, or it was on the left. And there's the TNH VZ51. Unfortunately, Vander gets spotted, and they're going to have more than a big mouth to be able to dissuade that TNH VZ51 from being able to teach them a little bit of respect here. Imagine what the enemy team's thinking. Wait, we're the bigger tanks. We've got more hit points. You're meant to respect us. Well, Vander doesn't believe in that. This is a David versus Goliath story with regards to that, as Vander now puts their damage total over 7,006 frags to their name. And not only is Vander doing a great job, but Boskert is being the faithful sidekick here in this Batman and Robin story. No, Vander doesn't quite manage to get the second shell in. Are they going to have to cross against the VK? The IS-7 will be tearing down towards them. Vander looks like they have to get back here. Now with the VK in the cap circle, this IS-7, who's called Hateful 78, has been on the warpath around the map to try and find either of these 2 pesky tier 8s who are trying to do the unthinkable and come back into this game against these higher tier heavies on a close quarters knife fight map. But Vander has something else to say, and that is outplaying, outmaneuvering, and out-sneaking the VK. And now a 2 versus 4, where the enemies had double their hit points, has now become a 2 versus 1, and odds are starting to get into Vander's favor. So they're up to 7,600 damage now, destroying nearly half of the enemy team single-handedly. And the IS-7 fires at Boskert in their their LHMTV. And we're just looking to see if Vander is actually going to commit to this situation. Doesn't look like he wants to, so he's actually going to turn, try and stay out of the 50 meters proxy spotting distance. That was a beautiful play to actually turn slightly towards the right there, and it means that he gets 1 but not 2 shells. I think you should have aimed that second shell a little bit more there, Vander, but I can understand the excitement right now. Your heart must be going. But now, with 644 hit points, luckily with a low roll from the IS-7, if they load a high explosive round here, that could prove fatal. So Vander's coming out up with the tactic, says, I'll take the shot, come with me. I love the confidence, I love the team play, I love the camaraderie, I love that you're even willing to take a hit against the IS-7, but remember, be careful with the HE rounds, Vander. The IS-7 doesn't quite manage to go in, and unfortunately, Vander low rolls the second shell, but locks the IS-7 down to give their sidekick a at least a consolation kill in this battle. And unfortunately, RNG denied them the Radley Walters medal. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it takes something truly special for me to actually want to feature a Borask game on this channel. And that is because this tank is just so popular and there are so many epic games. But when you see this, 8,700 combined against tanks that were up to 2 tiers higher on a city map, this is pretty much the Borask at its limits. And Vander, the big-mouthed, certainly stretched what the capabilities are in the Borask here. Look at this, 2,415 base experience, doing over double the damage of what some of their tier 10 heavies were able to do, picking up a high caliber for that huge damage, a top gun for the 7 kills, an Oskin's medal for destroying at least 3 enemy tanks or tank destroyers with a medium tank in one battle that were higher tier than them. And as you can see, even if you spam full gold with a Borask and resupply a premium consumable at full price, you still make a decent profit as long as you're not whiffing those gold rounds. So Vander, congratulations to you, and also congratulations to Bozkurt for being that faithful sidekick tank that provided the extra vision and even provided the extra couple of shells and harassment, the distraction that the Borask needed to take down an incredible underdog story. So Vander, congratulations to you on this epic game. Thank you very much for uploading it onto the What Replays website, and thank you very much for putting QuickyBaby in the title, so I know that you would want to be featured today. And I really hope all of you out there enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're watching this video as it goes live on Sunday, it's time for the World of Tanks Tech Tree Showcase, live right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And this week, I'm preparing this video in advance, so I have no idea what the vehicle is, but the thumbnail will show you. So come along, and I'm sure it's going to be hopefully a good tech tree showcase with a mystery tank. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you all live right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.